So with the bad that comes with podcasting, a potential bad is that we're both on streamed platforms, YouTube. You guys have clicks on TikTok. I see y'all. I see you. So you were speaking Arabic in TikTok, right?
We both were.
Yeah. How was your Arabic though?
Oh my God. Sure,
You know why I say that is because my Swahili is like your Arabic.
I thought you were fluent.
You said that.
But it's bad. I'm fluently bad.
You're good enough to fool those who don't speak it. Because I was convinced myself. I was like, okay.
It's good enough to get a message across, but like to somebody that's back home, they'd be like, hey, bro, just go ahead and speak the language that you know.
Right.
Yeah.
So with those platforms at any given time, right, we're seeing the U.S. government saying like, hey, we want to go and remove TikTok or at least have its parent company go to a United States holder. How do you guys feel that like, at any given time, we have projects that are on platforms that we don't know?
Yeah, I mean, it is an important question with like everything that's going on with TikTok right now. TikTok's actually our biggest platform right now, so it's definitely going to be a big hit for us to lose it if it potentially does get banned. But I think that it is important for us to figure out a way to own our audience, because with all these platforms, a lot of people on YouTube have been getting demonetized as well, like big platforms. So it's like, is it really your own business, or are you just an employee once again, and like you're working for these companies because they can deplatform you at any time, and then that's your income stream.
Yeah.
So
and how we talking and we're like, maybe cut that, you know, so that we can like fall within the guidelines of like
what is required for it to be on their platform. And some people have gotten demonetized and now they're on like Rumble or which they're not going to make as much money obviously as a YouTube. So it's something that we need to think about, like building an email list and like getting a website so that we have a direct connection to our audience outside of all these third-party platforms.
Right. I mean, I also feel like the freedom of speech like is such an important like and popular like way that people think. Like everybody, I don't think that there's anybody that's against freedom of speech. You know,
it depends on the country.
Okay, fair enough. That's an argument within itself, huh? That's a podcast within itself.
That's
but I feel like most people are for freedom of speech. Like I can hate what somebody says so much, but do I hate it that much that I would like want them to be out of the frame, and I potentially be in that same position if the powers that be don't like what I say? I would rather have freedom of speech. I understand that the argument is like sometimes freedom of speech is dangerous, and people can't have the opportunity to say whatever they want to say. But I think for the most part, people are for freedom of speech. And so when these platforms start saying, you can't say that, you can't say this, you can't say this, you can't say this, at some point people are going to be like, no, we need to have a platform where people can say whatever
But you can't, because it's not your platform. And I think that's
I don't think
the whole thing, because social media is so huge now. It's like, yes, we have freedom of speech, but do we really?
Right.
When they can censor you or put those little, how they do on X now, or formerly Twitter.
I don't think there's ever going to be a time, and maybe I'm wrong, you know, I will eat my words. I don't think there's ever going to be a time where it's like, there's not going to be anything that anybody can say. You know? I don't think so. So I think that like there is always going to be a platform for people to say what needs to be said. Like,
you think so?
Like Twitter, like the argument with Twitter is that like you can say the N-word. There can be racist radicals. Like anybody can say whatever they want to say. So, and people are mad about that. But people can say whatever they want. Yeah. From that angle, from this angle, you can be radical like Black Lives Matter. You can be radical like, you know, like white lives matter. But you can say what you want to say. So where is there a what's the problem if people still have an issue with X or Twitter because they allow people to say whatever. But I feel like it has to be, we can't say no to this and say yes to this, because then it makes it complicated. It makes it complicated.
When you look on YouTube, like, you know, Fresh and Fit, like they're a big podcast.
Yeah.
That everyone talks about a lot.
That Nurses Inc. podcast?
Yeah, no, what's the nurses? Do not claim.
Oh man.
But I don't like Christian Fit.
Yeah, I mean, I agree.
Yeah.
I feel the same, but they had got demonetized,
Yeah.
and a lot of the reason why is because of their misogynistic points and like the toxicity of their podcast. So you feel like YouTube shouldn't have demonetized them and should have allowed them to continue.
Well, YouTube should have demonetized them. They could still say YouTube. They could still say what they have to say. They're not like out of the face of the earth. Like YouTube still keeps them on, but you just don't make no money. You're not gonna get no money off of what you're saying. But that's not freedom of speech. Like
That's awesome.
That's not like you can say whatever you want to say. You can say what you want to say, but you're not gonna get paid for your nonsense. And I'm okay with that. Yeah, it's a problem when you're like you try to X people off the face of the earth for what they say. Even like I may not agree with it, but like I don't feel like they should be like out of the like nobody can hear what they say, because then you don't know. Well, the line is I'm very black and white sometimes just to make it easier for myself and for the world. Like I'm like, okay, if people don't agree with what we say, does that mean we don't have deserve a space to speak? No, I don't agree with that. So we deserve a space to speak. You can either not listen to it or listen to it.
I agree.
You know? And then like other people who may be saying harmful content and like there's a guideline to the platform that they're using. YouTube has a right to have their own guidelines.
They do.
And that's why Fish and Fit, like they're demonetized. They could still talk their shit and say whatever they want to say about Jewish people, black people. They said a lot of horrible things about different races and like, you know, just very defamatory things. They still have their platform.
Yeah, but I think it's also dangerous to a certain point because a lot of the younger generation of guys, it's not just Fresh and Fit, but it's like some of the manosphere podcasts out there, I feel like it does have real influence. And like I know people who are teachers who can see how certain students in their classroom consume that type of content and how they're like literally thinking that that's the way to be
what's
a man.
dangerous? That's the thing.
Because I think certain talking points can be dangerous when you're telling young men who are vulnerable and maybe they may not have the best social skills or be able to talk to girls that this is the way that you should deal with women for you to be an alpha male, or it's for you to be cool, or this is like the cool way to deal with women. And guys who actually care about women's feelings or emotions or like might actually want to treat a woman well or invest in just one woman, they're simps.
Yeah.
Or they're,
no,
so
I agree with that.
It's putting out a certain
and the Andrew Tates. Don't forget the Andrew Tates of the world.
Exactly. To me, it's
sex trafficking.
You have to be careful because
they're doing it. They're doing it. No, I agree. No, I agree with you.
So I feel like it's like
it's touchy.
Tricky.
But then also our platform, we're unifying the Black diaspora, which some people can see as dangerous too.
Exactly.
And then they could like try to censor like what we're saying. You know,
that's true. That's true.
You know, so it's like, I don't know. I mean, I agree with you. Like, what I don't like certain content. I really don't. And I when they're demonetized or out, I'm like, oh well. But at the same time, But at the same time, it's like, where is the line drawn? Because the powers at B are the ones who are drawing the lines, and they could start saying whatever is like dangerous.
Right. And that's why we have to build our own platform. Because if you're gonna be on YouTube and you expect to get a check from YouTube, we have to play by YouTube's rules. So if YouTube is like, for our sponsors or our advertisers or whatever, we don't want certain type of content, then it's like we have to follow those rules or don't get a check. Just post your videos like for the love of it, where we can all be like, oh, I just do it because I just love creating. But it's like once you start creating a check, and that gets taken away, are you just gonna continue creating content for free?
Right.
Like, no, like let's just be honest. People, it's hard work to create content. So at a certain point, like you expect to reap the rewards of your labor, right?
So do you guys feel like, how do you guys feel about like censorship or like, you know, how like the platforms
I think
are being
censorship
used?
is a very slippery slope. And the reason why I say this is like, just you touched on it. You said, I mean, I like what you say, right? But if okay, for example, like Alex Jones, right? I'm not an Alex Jones fan or nothing like that, right? They took that man off, like his digital. It's gone. Like they took him off the face of any type of monetization, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So now what was that?
He's back on Twitter.
Is he?
Elon Musk.
Well, because Elon Musk, right?
Right.
But like, let's say they're like, oh,
Elon Musk is anti-censorship,
and
he's getting a lot of backlash for that.
You know, if you're not getting backlash, you're not doing nothing. I'm just keeping it up. So,
hold on.
I gotta stand on it. I gotta stand on it, and I know y'all feel strongly about that.
How do you feel? Yeah. Okay.
So it's like you can't please everybody, right?
Let's go.
So I shouldn't, like, not me, but anybody that speaks their mind shouldn't be taking to have their digital imprint and moved off the face of the earth. I get it. It's entertainment. I don't support any type of traffic.
He's full of shit.
I don't support anything.
Sorry.
Yes.
Can you just say what Alex Jones did to get taken off the internet? Because I think that context is important. So,
Oh yeah, you talked about a lot of massacre.
Theories about children like being murdered is like not.
So that's why I always ask, like, where now and who decides? My question, my biggest thing is who decides the boundaries? Because if we have one person that decides the boundary, what if tomorrow it's like black empowerment is now a threat to society? Right?
Can we agree that maybe spreading lies?
Yeah, I mean, lies,
conspiracies.
Yes, yeah. Conspiracy, that's Jones is extreme example. But I'm trying to think of something that you didn't name because you named him.
Trump got taken off Twitter at that
Yeah,
point.
but he's too powerful to like. He's like. That's a different
else?
I think that's the part that gets complicated. Where is the line?
That's all I want to know.
Where is the line? And maybe that's name that episode. Name this episode that. Like, where is the line with censorship? Like, you know, like literally, because that's the part that confuses me. Because yeah, I can say that I hate that. Like these. I love that. Like. Fresh and Fit got like demonetized, and because I don't agree with them whatsoever. I actually don't like them. And like and then all these other people and like, but also it's like where is the line when it comes to like the controversy? Because we always want to push the boundary a little bit, even with black content, because we are unifying. We are having unifying messages, which is like not the.
When you're censoring a people that is just passionate, right? Because essentially that content creator is passionate about that thing. Gender wars, race and religion, right? Social issues. You might, like you said, you might not like it, and they might have such a view that it might trigger whatever feelings. I can't speak for women, but I can speak for men. As a man, just turn the thing. Just flip to the next video, or just like ask yourself, like, what is it? What they're saying? Our director just asked, like, are they physically hurting you? Now I know, like, we're in the day and age where like mental health and all these things, but I think like as a man, like.
By the way, we have an episode on mental health. Check it out.
Right. So where is the line? Anytime, maybe as a strategic. Help the girls and the men out.
Look at the strategy.
Where is the line? Because I'm actually confused about the line.
Man, bro, there's a lot of bad. We could probably go on for like days and days, maybe weeks and weeks.
The ugly. We're going to the ugly, not the bad. The ugly.
Well, I'm just saying, like, just for the bad. Though.
Yeah.
The good, that was probably like 5 minutes.
Yeah.
So
did we talk about the good?
Imagine.
Oh, we did. Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So with the ugly, right? Clearly, not only just being canceled for whatever content is out there,
Right.
but also serving long-term consequences.
Yeah.
Right? Whether that's being deleted, not just canceled socially, but like actually being deleted from the platform that you don't own. And then
censorship.
Yeah, censorship. So like the ugliness, ladies. Have you guys ever felt that you guys tiptoed on the lines of the ugliness, right? I remember like Willie had said, shout out to Willie.
Shout out to Willie.
I loved what he said.
Up there.
I loved what he had said on the, I can't remember which episode it was. It was probably the episode that we reacted to, but you know, there's a big colorism push, right? Like, like anti-colorism. And he had said, us South Sudanese are the darkest people. Why are we putting henna on ourselves? Something in those lines, right? And I was like, man, like, I love that. I want him to actually go further with that. But there are some, you know, especially black women that would feel like, well, that's a little colorist to say.
I think so. Not colorist, but I think that when it comes to our culture, it's been a part of our culture since way, way, way back. So it's not colorist, it's just it actually is Sudanese culture to do henna. So
my question is, why should somebody feel a way about that statement, though?
What do you mean?
Because it's been with us for so long, so people just naturally get like
Are
offended.
South Sudanese not black? You know, even children know South Sudanese is black.
But
right?
We're talking about when that in that specific episode, the context was like us separating from Arab culture and how henna.
They were trying to debate whether or not it was our culture that was being henna, Arab culture that was henna. They were trying to debate whether or not
it's complicated.
henna was Arab culture that we were appropriating.
Right.
And it was like debunked that no, henna has been within South Sudanese culture, like, or Sudanese culture as well. So it's not something that we're taking away from them. And it's an Indian culture. We just came back from Morocco. Our henna is different than theirs.
Wait. Y'all went to North Africa?
Yeah.
Oh,
but their
henna.
henna.
Were you riding the camel?
We did that. Yeah, we did.
What about the hookah smoke?
Oh my God.
They did that.
Oh, you did that?
They said it was the best.
The best hookah?
No, it's not my best hookah, but
Well,
it was good. It was good. Yeah,
Mine was your best.
Yeah.
Ochanda, how
So
can
Sarah
you
asked you, where was the best that you ever had?
I had the best in Dubai.
Jeez.
I think Dubai had the best hookah.
Even better.
I'm gonna be honest.
Holy cow.
Dubai had the best hookah. I'm not saying that's where the best is. That's the best I've had.
You've had.
That I've had.
I don't even smoke hookah, but
I don't like
Dubai,
it. I don't fuck
Yeah.
with a hookah smoker.
I'm
Yeah.
like, give me that hookah that Sarah smoked.
Yeah, I do not mess with the hookah. But my
Yeah.
best friend, who hasn't really traveled internationally, she said that the Moroccan Marrakesh one was her best.
It was better than here in
Sarah's been
Dallas.
to Dubai, so she has something to compare
Yeah, that was
it to.
definitely the second best.
They got a Marrakesh strain or flavor.
No.
It's like the way the way that they do it. Like the process was like smooth. And
But
like
what I'm trying to say is,
go ahead. I'm sorry. I don't
in
know.
Morocco, their henna was red, right? In a lot of other cultures, it's red. Ours is black. So I feel like, we're dark skinned, but we don't, like the red henna that they put on me, I couldn't see it either at the end of the night. So I could see what Willie is saying is like, why would they put that on us? Because it's not going to be visible on our
You
skin
paid for
tone.
it.
But but we have henna that is visible on our skin tones. Even the darkest people, they can still get henna. So I don't know.
My thing is like, beyond his statement on henna, skin complexion, I don't feel that, and again, you guys can chime
Feel
in.
what?
I don't feel that people should be getting triggered off of content, man. Even the most controversial topic, we shouldn't be. After we turn 25, we should let things go. I'm coming from a man's perspective. I don't know why men will get triggered, especially tribalism, right?
Mm-hmm.
Let's say I live in a country that has a history of that. You're a man.
No.
Like,
I disagree.
You mentioned manhood a lot, and I feel like that to me is the main point of contention for me, is because you're able to. That's why I feel like children shouldn't be on social media. As an adult, as a man, you're able to look at content and like make your own decisions, or just decipher it how you may. But social media is accessible to kids, and that's why I was saying earlier, it's very dangerous when you put out certain rhetorics when they're not like mentally developed enough to be able to make their own opinions. So they're taking this as like, this is what's cool, this is what's going to make me this, it's going to make me this. So I feel like it's different. Like manhood, of course, that's why I think you shouldn't be on social media if you're underage.
So when you say like people shouldn't get triggered off of social media, are we supposed to be like robots? And like just read it and be like, oh, this is something racist, okay. What are we supposed to like? How are we supposed to feel?
What I feel, this is me, I feel that when we come across content that is quote unquote triggering, you should ask yourself, if you protest, if you go out and like maybe vote in like a particular, whatever it motivates you to do, whatever that action is that gonna benefit you? And usually it's financial. Are you gonna get paid from that thing? And if you're not, let it go. So like, let's say, like
I don't know about that.
But hear me out, right? Because at the end of the day, what you're doing is you're taking time and energy away from your life to react to that thing. You didn't like on how, like, let's say like there's content that's anti-middle children, right? Oh, this just screams anti-middle children. And then you go out and protest like, hey, I hate this content creator, he's anti-middle children. Are you getting paid for that? Let them be anti-middle children. That's on them. That's their issue. I feel like way too often we react.
So it should only be about things that people are willing to like protest against?
No, I'm saying
No,
because oftentimes what happens if people are typing in the comments, that's a form of protest, right? Like, oh, I didn't like on how you said that thing about black people. Then what you should do, right, if that person lives in your district, try to get a person in a political position to be a representative for you. Otherwise, shut up. I know it's a larger
controversial.
thing. It's a larger thing, but what I'm trying to say is that like the ugly side of podcasting is that as a podcaster, a lot of the times for a guy, you have to like think 3, 4, 5 different times and have all these voices in your head to say what you might just be saying in a locker room, on the basketball court, at work, mowing the lawn, right? At Kinko's. I know that you thought Kinko's was canceled, right? And
It's bought by FedEx.
And you have to do all these, you have to think this many times to say what you want to say. But then it's like it's usually for nothing. It's usually for nothing. Because like if that episode only had 6 views, who cares? Okay, one of the things in comedy, I know we're speaking from a US standpoint, right, is that some of like the better comedians are able to like have those topics that they talk about in stand-up shows that are controversial. They tiptoe on those lines of like, hey, what is this and what is that? And I feel like when we get to a society that's like, this person doesn't mean that, or I'm not gonna take it for what he or she may say. At the end of the day, I still gotta live my life. And I feel that with podcasting, the ugly side is that oftentimes you have to tiptoe so much. You know, we talked about those podcasts that like, ended up being canceled. Yeah, some of those deserve to be canceled, but I feel that should have just been on like, if that content is not for you, it's not for you, right? I'm not gonna watch content.
So you're against censorship?
I'm against censorship because it's like, if you're watching or listening to something that's not for you, don't watch it. I'm not gonna watch Disney or like a podcast that's for like pro Disney World, right? That's aimed at kids under the age of 10. It's just not gonna be for me, so I should just like skip it. And I understand, like, like, is there a podcast that like has shaped women in like a bad light? Absolutely, but if I was a woman, I wouldn't listen to it. Then just like there are some podcasts where it's like just anti-men. I'm not going to listen to those podcasts, but I don't want those podcasts that are anti-men to be demonetized or taken off of YouTube.
But what if these anti-woman podcasts are like pro-men and like, the misogynistic podcasts are like gaining traction? Like, we hear about the Andrew Tates of the world. And like, I mean, now he's being like charged with like sex trafficking.
Yeah, investigated.
Being investigated. I mean, he was charged too with sex trafficking and all of those. Yeah, and like those are all dangerous allegations.
Facts.
And he may have not been like officially like indicted, but young men are following him and like his teachings.
It's a huge movement.
Yeah, it's huge. Like, so. Yeah, I mean, that's the counter argument that we've received is like, what about like messaging that is like dangerous? And like, hold on, I'm gonna read it too. Public safety and order, laws against inciting violence, like shouting fire in a crowded theater when there is no fire, which can cause panic and harm. Protecting rights of others, anti-defamation laws, false information, laws against hate speech, stuff like that. Should that be censored? And that's also like complicated.
He wasn't being charged for incitement of youth. He's being charged for that word that I don't want to repeat, but we both know. The T word, right? Trafficking. Mm-hmm. I said it now. His podcast wasn't about trafficking.
It doesn't matter. But he is a trafficker himself. He's being charged.
His podcast wasn't removed for the thing that he's being charged for.
I don't know how I feel about that. I don't want to
But just like okay, Wendy Williams, right? Like there was a large part of guys that were like F Wendy Williams, right?
But did she do anything illegal?
No. Did she make an entire show that was anti-men? No. So I wouldn't.
But did she do anything? That's not the same thing. Andrew Tate and Wendy Williams kind of.
But hear me out. A large part of men in the hip hop media didn't like her.
Well, let's not do that. Sorry.
Yeah, that's kind of like
how
Wendy Williams.
They called for her cancellation.
Wendy Williams was commenting on public figures, which is different, right? That's not.
And public information.
Not the same as Andrew Tate, who's advocating for young men to distrust women or talk badly about them.
Or trafficking.
Is very different from like commenting on public figures. So I think
that's different. That's different.
Public commentary is different.
Wendy Williams made a career out of possibly making up lies about male figures, both female and male figures.
Can we talk about the
No.
Public male and female figures.
Okay.
But
She made a
Wendy
career out of
Williams
that.
was on her own show. She wasn't on YouTube. Andrew Tate is on YouTube.
And
Wendy
even
Williams had a show on YouTube.
But even
Yeah, but she was on television.
Reposting.
But even
Yeah.
besides that, it's like gossip pop culture.
Sorry.
She wasn't like trafficking young men and like saying like
His show wasn't about trafficking.
or let's
So here's
let's
the
like
thing.
get
For me,
men to hate women.
I think
Or
that
women
as podcasters or content creators or whatever,
You have a responsibility.
We have a moral obligation and responsibility to be mindful of what we put out there in the public space for the consumption of not only adults but also children, right? So I think that like it's bigger than the conversation of like YouTube censoring you or should they be able to take it off or not. It's like you have to be mindful that whenever you're putting out this type of content, it might be entertaining or you might be trolling or whatever, like, you know, it'll go viral, whatever, but people might watch that and take it as like face value.
But-
not only people, but children.
Yeah, and like you say like Andrew Tate's like content wasn't about like trafficking and stuff like that, but at the end of the day, his viewpoints aligned with what he's being charged with. Honestly,
I feel like it made people support him more
It actually
because-
made sense. Like the charges was like, okay, yeah, he said that on his channel. Like honestly, it was all.
But that's exactly a direct
coinciding.
reflection of his business model, which was to get women to think that he was in love with them and in a relationship with them, and then flip it on them and have them turn into cam girls for him, and then have them working for him and making money for him.
Yeah.
So I feel like
it worked against his favor. I feel like his channel is actually gonna be evidence.
Is like I treat women like crap. I tell them how I don't fall in love. I tell them what I know they want to hear. Like basically understanding the psychology of women so that you can know how to manipulate them in order to be able to get them to do whatever.
Yeah, so it
is
fell
that is
within
in
his
your
model
best
of like, and which is
that's dangerous rhetoric.
Yeah, it is. It is. You
toxic.
can't sit here and be like, that's good
Can I ask you guys a
rhetoric.
question? And this is a little bit off topic, but it's not.
So clearly, like, you guys feel that somebody like Tate, the Fresh and Fit, right? Just anybody in the manosphere, let's just say what it is, right? They, the ugly side of podcasting is their message can be interpreted, whether they have that intentionally to be that thing, but it can be interpreted for something that's very negative, right? That's the ugly side of it.
And it's not even just the manosphere, because I don't want to just demonize them only. It's also the direct opposite of that, of like the hypergamous platforms, because I used to follow a lot of those as well, right? But some of them can be toxic to a certain extent, to where it makes it seem like demonize all men or whatever. So I feel like it's not just, I don't want to just harp on the men, because then it's like no one's going to want to listen to me. They're just going to be like, okay, she's just another man hater.
I speak freely on this
Yeah,
show,
it's both sides, which is why the big gender wars that we're having on social media is like basically killing like dating culture and everything for like our youth and stuff. But it's like the extremes on both sides. I feel like it's very dangerous.
Yeah.
And it is having real life consequences. Like I had someone come up to me like a year ago. We went to that rooftop party, that real estate thing, and the dude was like, remember, he was like, oh yeah, well, he introduced himself to us and he was like, yeah, I'm a high value man, I live in this building.
Oh my God.
He literally said that, and I was like, ew, get away from me. Like,
Yes.
That was his opening.
he literally was like, he introduced himself and he was like, okay, well, I live in this building, like, what do you guys do? What can you guys offer? Like, to me, I'm a high value man. And I was like, no one even wanting to speak with you. Like, you introduced yourself to
a high value man, yeah.
saying you're a high value man is just
A giveaway.
clear sign that you're taking in this content, and I can't.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's
Especially at that time.
Yeah.
Like, that was when it was like Kevin Samuels was still alive.
Oh
and
my
it was really
God.
very
I think that's the issue with like the good and bad and the ugly. We're talking about the ugly, right? It's like I think the ugly is like you feel like you have to appeal to like the extremes.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, you made the right point.
Yeah, I mean, Christine brought it up, like, you know, it's like, it's
you're
always
right.
about the extremes, and it's like, we never talk about, like, but the neutral is not exciting. It's not, it doesn't get the clicks. It doesn't get the clicks. You know?
Yeah, me too.
I'm very neutral.
I'm very diplomatic, very see both sides, and that doesn't get clipped.
So we talked earlier about being Pan-Africans, right? Mm-hmm. If we're all Pan-Africans, I believe in strong black families, right? That means a nucleus, right? A strong black. Let me not say it's strong, because I know that's like a trigger word.
It's strong.
I'm just saying
Internet's
Healthy,
weird.
balanced.
a healthy,
Yeah.
solid,
Yeah. I like that.
committed in strong black families, right? That means a nucleus, right? A strong black. Let me not say strong, because I know that's like a trigger word.
It's strong.
I'm just saying internet's
Healthy,
weird.
balanced.
A healthy, solid,
Yeah.
committed family nucleus, right? And I believe, like you said, we're all Pan-Africans, right? There's only one way to achieve that. So I can't say I'm Pan-African and then be like, oh man, I'm gonna just keep like having all these baby mamas until I'm in my 40s or like, or whatever.
Broken homes, broken families.
Yeah, broken homes, broken families. And I want to, strong black families create strong black nations, right? And we all want to do that for our own country, right? That's what we say, right? That's what we do in the South Sudanese podcasting thing, from what I understand, right? So yeah, I love the fact that you said the neutral never gets any, like, you have to either be, I hate men, I hate women, and you're a lame, you're a simp.
We're guilty of that too as a podcast too, because like when we do, we'll be honest, when we do teasers, it's like, we have to do a teaser that picked a side.
that is
like it has to be one side or the other, because the neutral side is not that.
That's the ugly part of this thing, right?
That's the ugly part of the game.
Controversy sells.
Controversy sells. You said it all. That's it. That's why. And it's like literally controversy sells. So you do have to push that for people to watch the full episode
and
get the content. And then we'll be like, and then when they get mad, we'll be like, why didn't you watch the full episode?
We didn't think it was gonna go like that.
That's so true.
Absolutely, I agree with that.
All right, we're about to wrap it up, but Ochanda, I want you to ask each person what's the good and bad, ugly
Of podcasting?
in there,
all right.
Tell it.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Man, like we can go on this for like days. I loved how passionate we got.
Absolutely.
Seriously, like especially that bad part and my take on that, right?
Yeah.
Like one of the things that's missing is like that genuine. Like usually podcast is so friendly, which is not a bad thing, by the way. When you have a friendly podcast, there's nothing bad about that. But also people live in a real world where like, bro, they don't even agree with me and Max have arguments
all the time.
A lot. As much as you guys see us hanging out, me and Max are on opposite ends on things. Where I'm going with this is
That's good. That's a good thing though.
Yeah, absolutely.
Ain't no yes man's over there.
You need somebody to challenge you every now and then, you know?
Where I'm going with this is, you guys are pretty busy. You guys are podcasters. Busy podcasters.
Oh my God.
Spit it out.
What do you feel, if you could give me one of the 3, good, bad, and the ugly of podcasting, which one do you feel that you personally hold dear and like focus on, and why?
Ochanda, why do you have to start with me?
You're right here. And then if I start there, it goes like this. So it makes sense.
It makes more sense to come over here. Damn, because I don't even think about it. Okay.
Yeah.
Ask me one more time so I can understand it.
Out of the 3, the good, the bad, and the ugly of podcasting, which do you feel like resonates and holds true with you?
The most.
Yeah, and why?
The good.
Okay, why?
Because there's not a lot of South Sudanese representation.
Yeah.
I know we say this all the time. It may be cliche, but there isn't a lot of representation for us South Sudanese, and hopefully we'll get to a point where there's so much representation.
We
won't even have to talk about it anymore. But the good is like people like being able to contribute to the conversation, whether you agree with it or not. You have a platform to say how you feel. Nobody's gonna judge you. Nobody's gonna say like you shouldn't say that. People disagree with us all day, and that's cool. As long as you have a right to say your point of view, that's all that we would wish for as South Sudanese people. And also South Sudanese people, like we're giving that representation, but also just like other people who never learned about South Sudan, putting us on the map, because we're people, we exist, we're a country, the newest country in the world, and like it's important for people to like see us, you know, just like they see Nigeria, just like they see South Africa, like Ghana, Kenya, and Ethiopia. All these countries are, you know, recognized. South Sudan is a new country, and we deserve to be seen as well. And that's why we're here. That's why we're here. That's it.
Miss Ladu.
Oh, that's hard to follow up.
Oh, girl. I stole some of your talking points.
Listen, we share. So I'm gonna just do this. I'm gonna keep it short because you already said majority of what I was thinking. But the good would be I feel like the impact that you're able to have with the type of platform that we have, because we don't have a lot of like space within like media for our voices to be heard. So I think that the good is like the impact, especially the young girls who reach out to us and look up to us, and like someone wrote us and said they were using us for like their paper in school or something like that. They were watching the episodes and using that as like, a resource.
Guys,
We're gonna be somewhere else.
Thank you.
Thank you.